Hello,
This
everybody.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay, that was a double whammy, but let the false start, but we'll start again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our weekly review show. And we had a wonderful, wonderful weekend of Premier League action, and it's a pleasure to be here to review that. And actually, it's interesting because we had some very interesting predictions in our preview show, and so it's good to now look back and see how right or how wrong we were. We were mostly wrong, but that's all right. Joining me today, as always, we've got Knayha back on the show. Knayha, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for the first time ever, we've actually got a new guest this time. We've got Anoop on the show. Anoop, welcome.
Thank you, Rohit.
Yeah, how are you feeling? Are you excited for this?
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, it's a big break. Yeah, this is a big break. We're gonna make you a viral, YouTuber now or a Facebook star now. No, probably not. But anyway, it's gonna be fun. It's fun. We'll get right into it because that's what the title of the show says. Do we have a title race again? What do you think, Anoop? Do you think we have a title race again? Do you think the Spurs victory has opened the door for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think perhaps it has opened the door, especially. I think Liverpool can keep it up. I think that's what I suggest. But I think the games will be crucial because I think now even the small teams, I mean, there's no small teams in Premier League, but even the bottom half of the table will now be, getting for draws. So it's going to be a tough battle. But I think if Liverpool win their matches, and I think City can slip up here and there, but I expect a strong title race between those two. But I don't see any other teams getting into the top two right now.
You mean the top two or the top four?
Yeah. I think it'll be top two between City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
I probably think City will still win, but still you never know.
Well, if Liverpool do win all their matches, they could win the title on goal difference because they do have one game on City and then a game in hand as well. So that could happen. Let's talk about the game itself, Knayha, because I mean, we thought it was going to be an easy win for City, considering how bad Spurs had been, but just something, there was something to them. Maybe Conte has Pep's number. I don't know. Because he did the double over them with Chelsea. It's nice done that with Spurs as well. It just felt, I don't know, was it complacency? Was it the fact that they were not, City were not prepared for Spurs, or was it something different?
I think it was very. It was clinical from the start. You could see them making mistakes in a way, like City, from like the way they were the passes. If you see the game in the start, they didn't have the momentum, like in a way, or they didn't kind of build the rhythm that they generally have. There were misplaced passes here and there, like wrong passes, bad touches in a way, and it's also kind of psychological, right? Because you know that this is the only team that's kind of beaten you some months back, and you've not had and you tried to get their striker, and that didn't happen either. So you lost on both accounts, and then that way kind of it's like it would have played psychological. They didn't play bad. The setup was good. The players on the pitch that they started off with were also kind of they're world class. Like there is no kind of saying they're second best. They're like, we had Kevin De Bruyne there, Gundogan starting as well, and Foden. Everybody, like even the defense was like rock solid. Laporte has been in great form. Diaz and Cancelo has been there, and Walker. But then I think that they played to the strength of, because I heard the post match interview between Kane and Son, and basically they said this is what they've been trying. This is what Conte has been teaching them. Like that run where like no look pass in a way, and he's gonna run. Like the first goal this is kind of Conte, kind of getting into that team with Spurs, and then stating the intent. So I don't think that City dropped the ball, but then Spurs were just different level, and then it could have also been the fact that he backed the Conte's comments before the game was basically like we let go of 4 and now we got 2. We are already 2-, and we're playing with youngsters and we're training them. That's the way the club works in a way. And then I don't know. It's kind of is it a war cry in a way, and basically saying that you need to prove yourselves now? But I get something thick. But something didn't work.
He was lying because one of the young players that he signed actually provided the assist for the winner. So he was lying. That's what he was doing. It's interesting though, Anoop. Do you think, I mean, they didn't start, I mean, I was surprised that Riyad Mahrez didn't start this game. Do you think that was a mistake? Because I know Raheem Sterling has been in good form, but maybe he should have started Riyad Mahrez, because I mean, you just had a great game against Sporting, right? And he's been in good form. So you drop him for this game. Is that Was it tactical? Was it a why do you think he did that? Pep did that?
No, I don't think so. Any tactical or anything with City, because see, City is a team where you can pick anyone from the bench and they would still make it to the starting lineup in any other team easily. So I think maybe Mahrez did not work that much. Maybe it was a wrong decision on that day because Spurs won it. I think basically I don't see much of an issue with City, but I think maybe Spurs stepped up at the right moment. I think they had 2 to 3 bad games, continuously, and I don't think things were working out for them. And the Son and Kane thing was not at all on this season, because Kane was not in the form initially. All that City drama of transfers and everything. So I think I think it's just again coming back. I think it was the first match day when Spurs defeated City under Nuno. And I think that came back. And if you see, I think it's just history coming back again. And I think Kane was superb. I mean, not in his best form, I would say, but at least the best in the season I've seen him so far. And I think other thing which I feel City did a mistake, I think after it happened 2-2, I don't think they expected Spurs to go and win it. Even if I think it was Jim Beglin or Peter Dury in the commentary, he was saying the same thing. Maybe now City can get one more, but no one expected Spurs to get the third. And I think it was a brilliant header from Kane, and his positioning was excellent. So yeah, overall, I think City were a team, but not up to the mark. But I think Spurs took their chances. That's it. And I think Son was unselfish and on so many occasions. And I think that's it. I think they just stepped up at the right time.
Yeah, and then on that follow-up, because we always dread to use the O word with Pep, but this is a question: did he overthink it in this one by not starting Mahrez? Should he? And is this a sign that about it? Because this always happens in the Champions League, right? People say, "Oh, he's going to overthink it for the Champions League." Is this a lesson for him to learn, not to overthink it for those big games in the Champions League when they do come?
Probably, because I've seen this 2 times. I think even in the previous Champions League season, the last to last, as well as the last Champions League season. I think in crucial matches there was unnecessary change in tactics. So maybe I think in crucial matches, maybe he can try just sticking to the basics and what works always, not to change too many things. So he can obviously go with that. But yeah, I think he knows better than all of us. So I don't think we can say much about it, because that's how it works. Like if things go down well, we point out. If it goes well, it's great. Yeah. So I think, but overall, I don't see City getting into a bad form or something. It's just a bad day for them, because that's how the team is. But you never know what might happen. This is Premier League.
Yeah.
And a fun fact there as well is, like, the last time City lost, they went on a 15-run undefeated streak. So
yeah, that's true.
it again. So you never know.
Yeah, well, although another stat for you is that on the last 2 occasions that a team has done a double over City, which only happened in 2 seasons, by the way, when 3 teams have done it, while City were with Pep. I mean, I should quantify, they didn't win the league title in either of those seasons. So did they make of that what we will? There's all sorts of stats and things if you're interested in history and all. But anyway, final question, I guess, on this one, because we move on. Knayha, Harry Kane obviously didn't get his big move to City in the summer. Do you think he was like trying to tell Pep and trying to tell the Sheikh that if you paid 150 million, this is what I can do to you, but this is what I wanted to do for you? Do you think there was some kind of thing there? He was like, well, do City, maybe you should have paid 150 million and you'd be winning these games? Or do you think it's a matter of?
I think it's not about Kane. I think it's about Pep. I would say that he knew that he's what class he is. Like, and he pushed it. No, there are some deals which make sense, and then there's a point where it just doesn't make sense. And I think that's what I think it's true for both. I would say Pep knew the class that he was going after, and that's the brilliance of him. Like, he showed it. Like, and Kane is like that brilliant that he kind of be like, okay, this is what you're missing. But then imagine if that would have been City. Like, Kane would have been in City, and he would have been like added on to the way City already play. And then Kane, kind of the class that he showed, the way he holds off players and people run off him. Pep would be like dreaming about this. He would have been like, why is this white? Why is he wearing a white shirt? This is what I wanted him to do for me. Maybe light blue shirt would have been better, with like Foden running, with that making those runs behind, and Bernardo, and so they have the players as well. But he is class. We know Harry Kane has the class. And then obviously when he went over the summer, this gets blown over. It's the media again, and that he have the motivation, and then him not scoring goals for the start of the season, and then people were like, okay, maybe he's just lost his way, and it just adds on, and but then Conte coming in, and Conte likes big players. Lukaku was one. He likes players who hold off, who kind of can do more than just kind of score goals, and he's proving that. And Kane, yeah, he in his mind, he would not never admit this, but then yeah, he would have been like, this is what you're missing, and you should have. But then there are deals that don't make sense, and even Kane knows that. Like, he's now stuck for life in Spurs. No, that's the other thing. He knows.
Okay, that
He
sounds
knows.
interesting. No, I know what he's not. I
He
think
knows
he's
that
gonna
for a
go.
fact.
No, I think he will go this summer. I think there's teams that need strikers. One team in particular in red, and we'll talk about them later on. They need a striker. Guess what? They will do it. You know what? That's a deal. I think that's a deal that they will want to do. If the price is enough, they'll do
Yeah,
it.
even if it's 200, they'll just do it. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be 200 though, because it was 150 last season. I don't think it'll be more than 100. But for 100, that's a deal that particular club, and I don't like to talk mid-table clubs, but that particular mid-table club will want to do it. That's. Anyway, we'll move on because there's more to talk about, because we're talking about the title race here. And what's interesting is we mentioned Liverpool. Liverpool, the one quality that they have is, as Pep said, they're relentless. They just don't, around this time of the season, it just looks like something turns in their head and they just don't give up. Like, they just, games that they should not be winning or that they could not be winning, they just find ways to win them. It's annoying, isn't it? As a club of, if you're in the other club that's actually fighting with them, because like they just don't give you opportunities to breathe or to take a break, whatever, but they just don't let you because they're so relentless.
Yeah, of course. I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, Anoop, you can go first.
Okay, so I think that's what has been Klopp's Liverpool. Ever since, I think initially it took time for a year or two to build that up, but I think ever since then that's how Liverpool has been. They attack, and they're relentlessly attacking. I think I don't know which team could actually defend. Because I don't feel defending is the way to go against with Liverpool. You got to attack, and you need to have strong centre backs who are equally supportive in defense. Fall back at the right time. So I don't see Liverpool doing that anytime, but occasionally. But I do see sometimes. I've not watched all of their matches, but I've seen their midfield a bit scattered at times. So I think if a pivotal player, someone like a Pjanic, previous seasons in Juventus, someone like that, if they could pivot the balls, I think they can exploit Liverpool, but it's still very tough with the centre backs and a good goalkeeper. But I think that's the way you have to go with Liverpool. You have to attack, being aware of everything.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, with all due respect, this is the sort of game that they could easily have lost. They were 1-0 down. They were struggling, for a long time. And then and it's Norwich, so you got to quantify it, but still. And then it just came through, and they just 3 goals. That's it, and it's now like a routine win. So, Korea, they do seem like the form team at the moment. I think probably. I mean, even
Totally.
do you think they can pull it up? Do you think they can go on the run that they need to go to win the title?
I feel the they got Luis Diaz in January, who I feel is going to be their catalyst, because you see the game and you feel that Liverpool is losing 1-0. Klopp, and we know that Salah, Mane, they're just going to be relentless. That's what they do. They don't stop. They're not like drop shoulders, drop heads. Oh, we are 1-0 down. Now what do we do? They're like, we don't care. We're going to go for it. Let's see how many score. If we score, we score. But what was really interesting to me was to see Luis Diaz kind of showing his own class amongst these two greats as well. Because it's very easy to be shadowed by them. And Klopp using them in the start, he's like, and of course he had Jota injured, and Firmino kind of last minute and stuff that happened, and then kind of opened up Luis Diaz to kind of start, and he just kind of fitted right in. And the movement he makes, it's just really, he just adds on to that. So coming to that point, that the run that they're on, is this kind of sustainable? They have now better players, or players that make the team look much more better in a way, like that defense, like that midfield as well. Naby Keita goes off, he gets I think he got in Thiago in, then he gets Origi. So he got Origi in, he got Chamberlain out, he got Origi in, and it's this is a game where both of their top backs, like fullbacks, are not there in the game. He's playing without Trent and Robertson. So it's kind of this shows the depth now. Of course, there is no doubt and denying that this is exactly what City also does. City has same, but then these kind of games where you're like 1-0 down and then you kind of stamp your authority, that kind of shows the intent that they have, and also the fact that they're not giving up. Like Klopp said, that Pep doesn't, I'm not breathing down Pep's neck maybe, right? And that's what he said. Maybe Pep is feeling that right now. Not that far. It's 6 points. It's maybe 3 points when the Leeds game that they have. It's 3 points when they and he is definitely
against Arsenal. So that's probably 3 points, I guess. When you think about it. So
exactly.
none of this is Arsenal a pretty good side. I just feel Liverpool are that just a little bit better. So it's tough. But I mean, Anoop, that's a good point though. I mean, we always talked about Liverpool's squad that we said, well, their 11 is good, but their bench is a bit weak. Now it looks like their bench is solid because you've got Luis Diaz, you've got either Jota or Firmino, whoever. Probably should be Firmino on the bench. And then you've got Thiago, you've got Elliott, you've got like all of these players on the bench. The bench now looks very good. And in games like this, where if you're trailing 1-0 and you need to change something, he's got those options now to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I see Luis Diaz as a fantastic signing. I don't think there was too much concentration from all the big clubs around Luis Diaz. I have never heard anything. But the moment Klopp picked, I knew he was a quality player because I had watched a few matches of Porto. So I knew Luis Diaz was an excellent player, but I think it was a great pick from Klopp. I think no one needs to doubt Klopp's man management skills. I think ever since Dortmund, we have seen him bringing the best out of the players, especially when it comes to character and not giving up. So I think Klopp's going to get the best out of him, and I think he's good at managing egos and everything. I don't see an issue ever with Liverpool, dressing room nonsense or anything. So I think it's going to be a great signing. I think it's perfect for them because I think Jota was injured and Jota wasn't in the form of his life. So I think just everything fell for Luis Diaz, and I think it's opportunity now. And I think it's going to be more dangerous when I think Jota comes back if he's in the same form or if he continues the same form. And I think Firmino, as always, can play the false nine role at any point of time. I think he and Benzema are two of the best false nine players I've ever seen. So I think Liverpool they're going to be tough to be stopped. But I think if an odd occasion is going to come, I think if you remember, I think in somewhere in December, Spurs drew with them 2-2. And I think it was purely defense and counter-attack. And if someone can do that, then I think it's possible, or else Liverpool are a strong title contenders along with City.
Yeah, the only thing I think the way to beat Liverpool is you got to have a very strong midfield. I think I watched the West Ham game when they beat Liverpool, and this was of course pre transfers and window and stuff. But because West Ham has a really good midfield now. And I thought they controlled that midfield. One of the rare times when a team controlled midfield. But keep in mind, in that game, Fabinho had a really bad game, which he normally doesn't have, and then even Alisson had a bad game. So they needed both of them to be out of form, and Van Dijk was also pretty average in that game. So you need Fabinho, Alisson, and Van Dijk. All three have to have like average or poor games. Then maybe the team has a chance. Which doesn't happen too often. That you might get all three of them out of form in the same game. So it'll be interesting. I mean, definitely. But there's a possibility that all 4 trophies now will be in Manchester, like between Manchester City and Liverpool. I think that's, there's a possibility that we could see 4 trophies just going to one of those 2 clubs or to one of the clubs. Or, Liverpool could still do the quadruple, by the way. That's a scary thought, isn't it? I think about it. For one, but anyway, it could happen. It could very well happen, but we will keep an eye on that. Let's just move on to some lesser matters as well. Then, in that case, we'll talk about quickly about the relegation stuff, because this was a really interesting weekend for relegation stuff, because Burnley won, Watford won, Newcastle drew, and then Everton lost. And I mean, the question is, Knayha, are Everton getting dragged closer and closer and closer? And even Leeds lost, by the way, so both of them, but Everton especially, are they getting dragged into a relegation? I mean, they're in a relegation dogfight, but are they getting dragged too close to that for comfort? Like, are they now in serious danger of getting relegated? Not just being in a relegation dogfight, but getting relegated.
Yeah, it's turned for them. Something is not working. I don't know what happened, because they've lost back-to-back games, which is pretty strange in a way. Also, the way that Lampard started with the FA Cup game and then them kind of stomping the authority. But then it's I won't say that they're already in the relegation battle, but then because they're a good squad, they could be at this
point, because I mean the table. If you look at the table right now, Everton.
Yeah, it's 1 point, I guess.
not even, yeah, it's 4 points. But
It's 4 points.
they have a game in hand on Watford, but then
Yeah.
Burnley played a game less. So and it's hard to say because they have games.
Exactly.
But if you say, but they're level on points with Newcastle, and they
yeah, exactly. So and that's going to be on everybody's mind right now, like, because I think it's what is going to be interesting is like Newcastle is coming up. That's they have the momentum right now. Newcastle has the momentum. Everton has not been doing well for the last year. They need a turnaround, and that turnaround started in a way. It's like people thought, oh, it's going back to normal, but then it's like, oh, it's going down. Oh no, it's worse. And then so it's and then also what I was thinking was like the Everton fans started booing at the end of the game as well, which was pretty interesting for me because it's just the third game that Lampard is in. He's trying stuff. He started Van de Beek. He's playing the players that he has. He got Dele Alli as well. But then this will take time to kind of rebuild. It's like a rebuild always. It's never kind of you get results from the day one. So they are definitely all of them. Like I would even say Brentford, Leeds, Everton, who are like 24 points
Leeds for
right
sure,
now.
yeah, Leeds definitely are there in that battle for sure. Then you've got Brentford probably, yes, might get sucked into it as well. It doesn't get easier for Everton though, Anoop. The next 3 games is City, Wolves, and I believe Spurs. So they could very well lose all 3 of them, and in which case then you're looking at teams, and then they've got Newcastle and Watford, which I think are going to be critical games for them. That they'll have to win those 2. But I mean, those next 3 games, if they lose them, it's a pressure on. The real pressure will be on, especially if the other teams around them can maybe pick up 2 or 3 points here or there. They're going to be under serious pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something's changed in Everton and as well as Watford. I think both the teams are not performing up to the mark. With Leeds, I feel bad for them because I think I could easily name at least 10 players who are injured in Leeds right now. That's how bad the situation is at Leeds. But I am a fan of Bielsa and I feel he'll take them through. I think they will avoid relegation. That's what I feel because I think they have that character, and any Bielsa's team works like that. So I think they'll somehow make it through because I think after 1 or 2 fixtures of Leeds, I don't think they have too much of a difficult fixtures. I think they have fixtures that where they can defeat an odd opponent and go. So I think that's why Leeds will make through. But Everton have a series of tough fixtures right now, and I think might be Everton, Watford, Burnley, and Norwich. I think these 4 teams will have to, somehow will be in the bottom 4. I feel. I think Leeds will make way up, and I think, but something's changed at Leicester too. I don't see Leicester like a much of a big difference, but I think since they have played less games, that's why they're just maybe safe. But things could go south even they are on a tough spot because they are in one of the worst form with Vardy injured. So I think they also need to step up and stay safe.
I think they're probably around 9 or 11 points off the off relegation. Just have a bit of a gap. I think that should be.
Yeah, it's like if you look from Leicester to like Norwich, there's a 10-point gap right now. I'm not talking about games not played and everything, because then that's kind of weird. So 27 points right now, Leicester with 23 games played, and 17 points with Norwich with 25 played. So it's pretty weird. I think this season is going to be like really good down to the last game because there's so much rescheduling as well kind of going in with double game weeks, with Burnley starting, like they have double game week now, and then next game week is also double for them. And then there's a blank game week because you're accommodating FA Cup and stuff, and then so it's going to be very interesting to see this.
Well. Yeah, there's going to be international coming up as well, so it's going to be weird. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, Newcastle seem to be getting out of that conversation of the relegation spots, but Everton are getting sucked into it. Leeds as well, yeah. I mean, they actually have 2 big games now coming up against Spurs and Liverpool and Spurs. And then after that, it's it's a relatively easier run of fixtures after that, as I was saying. So be interesting to see what happens. Watford, you were talking about, actually, Watford have not had a change. They've had changes because they already changed. Like they're on their 3rd manager already this season. So with Watford, I think it's just a matter of them. Like I guess Watford are like the Watford and Fulham kind of alternate between themselves. Right? Like one goes up, the other goes down, and one goes down, the other goes up. Yeah. These go up and down, and then sometimes Norwich will also do the same thing, up and down. Yeah, it's almost become like Anyway, I don't even know. I can't even give a proper analogy, but it's like they're like a revolving door of Championship and Premier League teams that they do amongst themselves. But it'll be interesting. That relegation battle will be one to keep an eye on, I'm sure, because there's so many teams now that are getting sucked into it slowly. We'll see what happens. We'll come back to the top four race. We'll talk about Wolves, who are quietly, building up a resume to go qualify, because at the moment they're just 6 points off United in fourth, and they do have 2 games in hand. So conceivably, if they win them, with a good enough goals margin, they won't, but they could. Then they could go fourth. Arsenal, of course, are, I think, 5 points off with the 3 games in hand. I think that's what they are at the moment. And it's a bit,
4 points. It's 42
points with,
4 points.
with 3 games in hand. So if they win, so at the moment, I would say Arsenal probably in the driving seat as far as the top 4 race is concerned, just based on the number of games they have. Spurs are at the moment 7 points, and they also have 3 games in hand. So you're looking at Spurs and probably Arsenal as being 4th and 5th. Do you think that do you see Wolves, like, at the moment they would probably be 6th, 7th based on the games in hand, but do you see that maybe, because they've got a game in hand on Arsenal, by the way, they still have to play Arsenal, so they still have to play those games, and I believe they might even have to play Spurs still, so they could take points off of them. Do you see a chance for Wolves maybe to sneak into that 4th spot?
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to be clashes for Wolves. I don't think, especially I don't think if they've finished their matches with City, Liverpool yet. So I don't think that. I think there where I might see a blow for them. I think that's one occasion, and I still strongly feel it's going to be between United, Spurs, and Arsenal. One of them is going to go for top 4 spot. Because Wolves still have quite a fixtures left, and I think there are a few head clashes that are going to crucial. I think Wolves' next match is with Arsenal, and I think that's going to be very crucial for both the teams. Whoever wins there might, just get a bit of room. But I think they face Liverpool at last, and then there is Chelsea in the last 3rd match and City in the last 5 for Wolves. So that's going to be tough fixtures for them at the end, because I think City and Liverpool will be going for the title, and so you never know. So I don't think Wolves have a chance. But yeah, I think City, Spurs, and not Spurs, Arsenal, and United will be fighting for the 4th spot.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens there with Wolves. The thing about it though is that all these games, they have games in hand, but many of them are against each other as well. Because I think Arsenal, one of their games in hand is actually against Spurs. So both of them can't really get those get 3 points each, right? You can't get 3 points from that. So so it's gonna be one to keep an eye on as to how it's one of the weird things when you have all these games in hand. You just don't know how things are going to pan out, because you can't really make predictions based on that. But we try to do the best we can. You said United, between United, Arsenal, and Spurs. I mean, that's a bit optimistic. Do you think Newcastle still have a chance to make the top 4 race? Because I feel they're too far off the top 4. Or were you talking about Leeds? Because Leeds, I think, also quite far off. Which United were you referring to?
I'm sure Manchester United. I'm kind of confident. I'm optimistic. I think they'll make it somehow. I see, I actually don't see Arsenal making it to top 4. I mostly see it's going to be a battle between United and Spurs. I think, but if United somehow, I feel they will win one match, either against City or Liverpool. So I think I'm optimistic, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we know who's not coming
if that
back.
happens,
We now know who's not coming back on this show ever again. It's Anoop is jinxed. He's going to win one of those matches City and Liverpool. I will talk about United because I thought that was a very exciting game actually against Leeds, because I actually enjoyed it. It was a very old school sort of game. Like, it was like rain all over the place. There was mud, the close. Leeds, I think Leeds might even the Leeds laundry room is probably going to be like working overtime, because they're going to have to wash all this. I don't know if they still do that, if they still reuse jerseys, but if they do, they're really going to have to wash those jerseys with extra hard, because all of them were like totally sloshed with mud. What do you make of the game, Knayha? What did you think about the game as a whole? Did you like it? Did you think it was
I think it was just crazy weather first. What the hell was happening? I'm like, is this even a pitch where you can play? Like, what with the ball standing and stuff and so on. But then so I was like, this is going to be really miserable for me to watch, and then like any moment, and this could easily turn. And it went the same. The story was same, and of course the goal that we had from Maguire, in a way, that was like after I think there was
it was like the first goal that United scored from a corner. But I'll tell you this, that was all about Luke Shaw's delivery. Because all Maguire did, he just stood there and the ball hits. He wasn't even anything. He just hit his head and it hit the right part. Literally, I'm saying that watch that video again. All it is Maguire doing what he does every time, which is he just tries to get there and it just hit the right part of his head this time and it went.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I think that he admitted to it, right? He said after 450 corner or something, United have finally scored a goal from a corner.
Yeah, no, 140 corner.
I think this was 138. This was the 139th one that they took. Yeah, as there was the
and he was like, we collectively take responsibility for not doing that. And I was like, dude, come on, let's not even go there. You're so.
Not even that. No, but it's like Maguire. He wasn't. Normally you see when you watch Ronaldo, you see Lewandowski, you see even Van Dijk for that matter. They head the ball, like they know how to head it. Maguire just has to get his head anywhere. Like it literally is one of those things where it hit the right part of his head to go inside. So I really thought Luke Shaw was good on that. But on that note, I thought that it was a good game in the sense that these are the kind of games that we kind of grow up playing, and it's kind of nice. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it every week, obviously, but once in a while, it's a good thing to kind of know what actually football is about and being that grounded and that kind of is nice. It's a nice throwback. But same problems. I mean, this time, we always said you need to score more than one goal to kind of control the game, be able to get forward, to not have these issues. And United said, well, fine, we'll score 2, and then we'll show you that we can still come back to 2-2. We can still out them. I mean, it was just a bonkers 1 minute. Was it 24 seconds between 2 goals? There is a problem.
72 seconds.
70, I thought it was 24 seconds. Somebody said might have been
72 seconds.
72 seconds. Okay, well, yeah, it's okay. Okay, I missed it by a third, but that's all. It's actually a third. Exactly, the 24 is actually a third. But anyway, just going back to the point though, there's a problem, and I wonder, is it intensity because they play with a lot of intensity in the first half and they lose it in the second half? These players are not fit. Is it a mental issue where they stand to sort of come out? They've dominated the first half and they think it's going to be more of the same, and they kind of just ease off for about 10 minutes or so. I don't know, or is it just the players? I don't know what do you think? Do you know, or do you have a theory on what the issue could be? Because this has now happened. It's happened 3 games out of 4, and the only reason it didn't happen against Brighton is because they played so badly in the first half. There was no way that they could play worse in the second half, and then Brighton of course decided to give them a man advantage, so they kind of escaped it. But this happened 3 out of 4 games, or 4 out of 5 games actually, right? 4 out of 5 games now that has happened. That is, what is the issue? In your opinion, or do you have a theory?
No, I don't think there's any specific theory, but I think leaving aside the Leeds match, I think it's in the Leeds match. I think the players I think they were not that smart. I think the second half there was a lot of rain. I think the pitch was not good, so there was no need for you to make turns or try to make some skills, try to make too much creativity. It was just simple pass the ball. But I think that's what they missed. I think they should have adapted to that quickly, rather than and that's where I think you give Leeds a fraction of a second, and they're an attacking team. They're going to attack. So I think Rafinha's cross got lucky. I don't blame David Dyer for that at all. I think it's just one of those days where
No, that was
yeah.
That was some.
I don't think it was Rafinha. It was.
It was the striker. What's his name?
Sorry, it was not Rafinha. It was Rodrigo. It was Rodrigo.
Rodrigo Moreno. Yeah, Moreno. Yeah.
Moreno.
It was Rodrigo. I think that one.
Yeah, Rafinha had the second one.
The second goal, the tap-in. Yeah.
That happened, yeah, and that was. I think again, I see Luke Shaw making some mistakes in defense. I hope he doesn't make them too much.
He was sleeping.
I think he was
sleeping. He looks at him and then he goes to sleep and he's like walks past him.
Yeah, and see with Bruno, and Bruno again loses the ball in midfield and immediately goes down. And I was like, oh my god.
I was like, dude, like just get up. Maybe just give him the second shove and get a yellow card. Rather than there's no point just kind of whining. It didn't make sense.
Oh my god, that was a period of 1 where I think they just panicked. And it was just. I don't know what to make of that, because it takes a special kind of skill to go from 2-0 up to be 2-2 in like a minute, right? That takes a special kind. It happens that you can go from 1-0 to 1-1. Sometimes you get bad decisions, as it happened, and sometimes you just unlucky.
It was like they finally scored the second, and then I was like, what happened here? Like in a minute, I'm like, what? No.
It's a special kind of incompetence to do it. But anyway, I am actually will not talk about this, but it's an interesting one. I don't know what Alex Telles did to get dropped, though, to be honest. I don't think Luke Shaw has been that great. I mean, he's been okay. I think he's put in a few good crosses. He's got a few assists. He got an assist today in this, not today, but he got an assist in this game as well. So he's done okay, but I don't know what Alex Telles did to get dropped, because it was surprising to see him not starting games. Like he's not started at all, I think, since probably even before the Middlesbrough game. And since the international break, he has not started a single game. So I'm surprised with that. But on that, speaking of left-hand sides, another good performance from Jadon Sancho. He looks now like the player that United thought they were getting. They thought they were getting a right winger, but now they've got a good left winger. That's story of United's life, isn't it? For the last few years, we always seem to buy a right winger and then play him on the left wing. But still, he looks good. He looks good on the left wing. It looks like he's adapting to that world.
I think exactly as you've chosen the right word, adapted. He's kind of getting into that. He's coming like with high expectations, and people kind of saying, why is he not starting? Why is he not scoring? Why don't we get the way he played in Dortmund? And then the best part about it is like we don't really we've not seen him much in like the Dortmund was like he played very freely there and on the right, and and although also on the left, like he would move, but then he would kind of stick his guns. But then with United, it was like there was so much changes around him in a way as well. He didn't start first. You give him time to kind of settle his feet. Then you start him a couple of games, then you drop him again, and then you basically put him on the bench for a couple of games when he's like, why am I on the bench? He comes off like 88th minute, and you're expecting him to be the game changer suddenly. So that's not the kind of player that he was in Dortmund. He was the playmaker for in Dortmund, and he would score the goals, he would make the runs, he was a creator as well. And this is what I think we spoke about this very early on in one of the shows as well. And that's what we said is he just needed time. He just needs time. It's not that he's got his time. He still needs more time. This is great that we have something positive to talk about this season. And I think that's for a United fan, because out of all the negativity that's surrounded the club with breakouts within dressing room, Ralph Rangnick kind of, and then players saying a lot of things to each other, maybe whatever. But then it's great to see this kind of kid kind of coming back to his original known form, and he's been talked positively, and he's been performing, and I just hope that he just continues, because United needs some ray of hope. Bruno has been under, like he scores. Bruno is scoring, but then he's like, I don't know. He's from the last season where he was doing everything. He's not talked about that much. I don't know why, but then I'm happy about Sancho.
Yeah, I think with Bruno, the thing is that last season, I think probably for the first 12 months of his United career, he was pretty much carrying the team. Because the United was so bad. And I don't think he's doing that anymore, because he doesn't need to do that anymore, because I think the players around him who also can now share a bit of that burden. They're not doing that well, but they can. So I think maybe that's kind of shown him to be a little bit worse than he is. I still feel there was a confidence issue because he was missing open goals and things like that. So hopefully that has kind of gone out of his game now. But I'm hoping that a more consistent position for him will help. But on that note, Anoop, I think what's interesting as well is, with regards to Sancho, I think what's helped him obviously is, and it's of course unfortunate, but that it happened. But obviously, a certain player, he who shall not be named, is now no longer part of scheme of things, and he might never be playing for the club again. So he's been out. And then we've got Marcus Rashford, who's also kind of like lost his form. So that's kind of helped him to actually be the main man on the wings, and he offers something different. So I like that. But what do you make of Jesse Lingard? I mean, there's two-part questions. So I'll start with the first one. What did you make of Jesse Lingard's performance for this match? I don't want to give my opinion because I don't want to influence it. So I'll give my opinion, but I just don't know, what did you make of it?
Sure. I think he was okay. I don't see great or anything, but I don't see him playing at the wing. So I think because he doesn't have that pace, so I would rather play him as a center attacking midfielder. But there is Bruno already, so I would rather play him now and then as a substitute as a winger if needed, if we are already 2-0 or 3-0 up. But I don't think that's going to be a rare case for us. So I don't see Lingard as a potential winger. I don't see, because he doesn't have the pace. So I think we have to choose the teams where he can start and where he cannot start as a winger. So I think that's what Ralph needs to do, because I feel I'm honestly very happy with what Elanga has been offering. I think because he's one player who offers more defensive work rate as compared to Rashford. So I'm happy with what he's doing. Still needs to improve a lot. Young player, but I feel he has the right attitude to do that. And I think with Sancho just stepping up, I think now Sancho doesn't have that psychological barrier where he needs to think whether he's going to be in the starting lineup or not, because now he has that He knows that he's going to get more game time. So I think that has kind of maybe given him some more confidence. So yeah, I think that's what I think of. But I don't see Lingard being a winger, having a fantastic season at the end. But I think here and there he can be used as a substitute. Maybe whenever we need more attackers, we can bring him on. But I think more playing centrally would be his ideal role for Lingard.
It's disappointed with his performance. I mean, not just lack of pace. And lack of pace is one thing. You have lack of pace. You can still make up for it. Again, it's not about, the Bernardo Silva is not exactly the quickest player on the pitch, but he makes up for it, right? I mean, I just feel Lingard is kind of like, as much as he says he's professional, I just feel like he's checked out. I think he realizes he doesn't have a future. And I think right now at this point, he's like, okay, well, I'll do whatever you want me to do. But I'm not going to strain myself to do it. So if it's not coming for me, right? So I just feel like he's checked out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we also spoke about previously in one of the shows, like the transfer, the January, like the transfer show. I think, and when the summer when he leaves and stuff is, I think he knows that he's just kind of biding his time here till somebody comes sweeps him, or he finds, or he already might have a deal with some club, because he's just. Yeah, it's again like the brand part of it. Like I'm part of Manchester United, and I will never say no. It's again his image in a way. It's more about branding and his own personal image, rather than kind of like going back like the way he used to fight for it. Like you would expect things or a spark from Lingard when he would get a ball. Now it's like, I'll just pass it. I have better players around me.
Yeah, I was also going to talk about Elanga. I think Elanga is now due for a long run. I think he needs to be starting. I do think he's better on the left. Another one who's better on the left. I think because if you look at the goal that he missed, that he should have scored, it was on his left foot and he couldn't finish it. But when he went on his right foot, he hit it right properly. So I do think he needs a long run in the team. So hopefully they can have him switching wings, like playing on the right, playing on the left, so you can kind of get that with Sancho. But I think it's time to give him 2 or 3 games in a row. Like let him just start because Rashford anyway. Let Rashford be out, because again, maybe he will then rediscover his love for football. Maybe because I do feel at the moment that he's also kind of checked out of football. I'm not saying he's checked out of the club, but I just feel like right now, for him playing football feels like a bit of a burden. But anyway, and I think with Jadon Sancho, this one again, final note that I had is that I feel he's one of those players who's always going to have a slow start to the season and then will pick up over time. So that's what I feel. But anyway, we've got a big game against Atletico in the Champions League coming up for United. Chelsea will be playing Lille as well, and those will be 2 very very exciting games to watch and to see what happens there. Because we're hoping that all 4 Premier League teams make it to the next round. But I mean, that may or may not happen. But we'll keep an eye on that. Anoop, who was your player of the week for this weekend? Who was your player that stood out for you?
Oh, I think it's tough to pick. But I think I'll go with Harry Kane.
And you miss an opportunity to be like, it's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Kane. Like anybody, it's like a bit of a throwback there. If anybody knows what that reference is, if you know, you know. You miss it. It's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be. Anyway, yeah, Harry Kane. Right, Harry Kane is your pick. What about you, Knayha?
Yeah, I think there's nobody else. It's Kane, I would say, for me as well. So that's pretty clear.
Yeah, it probably is. You know what? It's interesting. I mean, obviously, I don't think you can look past Kane to pick your player of the week, obviously. But you know what? I will change it. I'll say Daniel Podence for me. Just to be different. I'm not saying that he was the same. I'm sure it was Kane was everybody's player of the week, but I'll go with Daniel Podence because I think because he stepped up. Now that Traore is gone, he's actually stepped up. He's pretty much helping Wolves, and I thought he was very good against Leicester. I know it's Leicester, and they're not doing that well, but still. We'll say it's Podence, but it's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane.
Yeah, that's got to be Kane. That's got to be Kane. That's got to be Kane. That's Vince McMahon. Anyway, all right. That was something. Anyway, all right. On that note, we'll wrap it up here. I think it's been exciting and interesting conversation with both of you. It was always a pleasure to have these discussions and to know more. And of course, we've got Champions League games this week again, Europa League as well. And then the Europa Conference League, because we've got 3 competitions. And then, of course, we'll have the Premier League coming back and returning. It'll be as things are shaping up nicely. And I think we're having a few small battles that we can see. And we'll see how that progresses. But thank you so much, Anoop. Thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have you. If you did enjoy watching the show, share your comments. Let us know what you thought of this weekend's games. What do you think of the matches? What do you think might happen this season? Let us know. You can also remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But we've crossed 140 followers now on YouTube, so we're moving towards 150. We're also tantalizingly close to 500 followers on not followers. So if we've got 500 followers on Facebook, we're close to 500 likes on Facebook. So please do like the channel, and and help us grow this channel so we can get more people and have more of these discussions. So thank you so much. Have a great day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.